Hello and welcome back to Big Discussions. My name is Dr. Anwar Yusuf Dunbar. I am the owner and the creator of this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. All the information to my channel and my blog are on the banner for for my channel. So I'm not going to go over that. I want to thank everyone who has subscribed thus far. Please share these videos and please help me grow the channel. Today is May 5th, 2019, so it is Cinco de Mayo, and as you can see, I have a guest with me this time. Not only am I not in my usual place, but I have a guest. This is my brother, Amahl Dunbar. You want to say something?
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me. I am a 3D animator, visual effects artist, and inventor. I have some background in filmmaking, so I've been looking forward to reviewing Avengers Endgame and sharing some knowledge with our viewers.
Okay, so as I described in my second YouTube offering, comic books were very much a part of our upbringing, and we collected them pretty religiously at one point, and they were very instrumental in us learning how to read and just thinking about science. My channel and my blog have a science focus, and so these things are very, very near and dear to our hearts. And we've been both following the Marvel Cinematic Universe since it started about 10 years ago. We did some reviews on my blog when I first started it, and now we're here to offer this video review of Avengers Endgame. But before we get into the actual movie, I want to say something, give a little public service announcement, which should be pretty obvious, but when we went to go see the movie yesterday for the second time, there were some interesting things that happened in the theater. And just, for those of you who are watching, and please share this with your loved ones or your friends, when you go to see a movie, you're seeing it with other people. You've paid to get in, other people have paid to get in. So you want to be careful about talking in the theater while other people are attentively listening. If you have kids, you want to be careful about your kid kicking someone in front of them. If you have a cell phone, you want to turn the cell phone off, turn the ringer off. If it's important, take it into the hallway. And these kinds of courtesies can make the movie experience much more enjoyable for you and your fellow patrons, and not paying attention to these courtesies can ruin the experience for the people in the theater.
Absolutely. Everyone in the theater paid to be there. Be courteous. It's a community space. We're there to enjoy the movie.
Okay, so the movie's been out. Avengers Endgame has been out for about a week and a half now, so there may be some spoilers in here. So if you haven't gone to see it, maybe you should shut this off now. But we're going to jump right in, and I'm going to start with some of the things that stood out to me. First of all, I thought it was a great movie. At 3 hours, you have to see this movie 2 times in order to get everything. The first time I saw it, just like when I saw The Matrix for the first time, some of the stuff went whew. So the second time, I was tuned in, and I'm just going to run over a couple of things that really stood out to me this first time. One thing was, I did not, when Hawkeye's family got dusted that first time, I noticed that they weren't there, but this second time I actually saw the dust of their bodies going away. So I picked up on that. The other thing was, I picked up on Professor Hulk when they were talking about when they got once they had gone on their heist. He talked about how he was the most suitable person to try to undo Thanos' snap. And I didn't pick up on that the first time, and there's a little nuance there as to why he was the most suitable person to do that. And then finally, in the last battle, there was a lot going on in that last battle, but I completely missed what Doctor Strange told Tony about the last battle would end, and there was something very specific about what he told Tony and what would cause the events to unfold and what would not cause the events to unfold. And then the last thing I missed, which I saw this time, was how Tony actually turned the tide on Thanos at the end. Amahl, you want to say something?
I thought with this third movie, they really tried to make each Avenger a significant part of the outcome. So by the end of the movie, sure, some of the characters had more screen time than others, but I felt as though characters like Hawkeye and Black Widow were as important as Iron Man and Captain America and Thor. Iron Man, Captain America, and Thor, being the core members of this group. I felt as though Black Widow and especially Hawkeye really got the screen time that they deserved, and especially in that end scene, Hawkeye was a critical part of the story, and he was the first Avenger mentioned in the signature credits. And the first time I saw the movie, I saw it on a Fire Stick. Shout out to Angel, and the signature credits were not in what I saw, but seeing it in the theater for the first time, I got to see these signature credits, and it was nice to see Hawkeye and all of the Avengers mentioned in the signature credits.
Okay. So again, it was a very complex timeline, and you almost have to take that in twice to get everything in terms of the complexity of the story and what the characters were doing and what the characters were trying to do. A couple things that disappointed me. Well, they're kind of the same. Some of the characters died. Iron Man and Tony Stark were my favorite characters in this universe. And as these movies are being made, you hear that there are contracts, and this person is going to be on for this number of movies, and this person is going to be on for that number of movies, and so that there's an ending to it somewhere. But I was, anytime a character dies, I kind of don't like it. I want everybody to survive. And then there was another member of the Avengers that died in this who I liked. And she died. It was Black Widow, and I just don't like seeing the characters die. I want them to kind of go on and grow old and in their roles. Speaking of which, the same thing happened with Captain America. He didn't die, but let's just say he transitioned over into another role in the movie. What was interesting. One thing I picked up on is that there was relatively no mention of Vision in this movie. Vision obviously held one of the stones in Infinity War and in Age of Ultron and in Civil War, but there was no mention of Vision anywhere, and that stood out to me. Was there anything that you, Amahl, left you scratching your head or kind of disappointed about or vague about?
I really enjoyed the time travel aspect of the story. I thought that at some point, earlier on, when the Avengers had discussed time travel as a solution to undo Thanos' snap, early on, the script had explained to the audience what was going to happen and what needed to happen, and then as they were testing the time travel, the Hulk and Rhodey, Captain Rhodes, who is War Machine, along with Hawkeye, had several discussions back and forth along with Ant-Man as to how this was going to work. And after seeing it for a second time, I wasn't quite sure how they were going to describe it. Movies like Back to the Future, Star Trek 4, Hot Tub Time Machine, Time After Time, all of these movies had discussed their own versions of time travel and, left their version of what was supposed to happen with the audience. With this movie, by the time the Avengers actually all talked about it, the audience, or at least for myself, I was a little confused. I did get some clarity when Tony Stark, Iron Man, said to Captain America, "Oh, you guys have been testing. Let me guess. You turned him you turned Ant-Man into a baby. Well, you were running time through him and not running him through time." So there was some resolution. Honestly, do any of us really know how that would even work? But for something fun in a movie like this, it would have been nice if the script or if the final edit would have left the audience with some sort of clarity.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I was going to say, as you were saying that, one of the things that I was looking for that I didn't get was one of the things I enjoyed about Tony was his knowledge of engineering and physics and his ability to do mathematics in his head and put things together and break things apart. And I was really looking forward to seeing him play with the PIM particles and show us some of his calculations. And as a scientist myself, I really dig that stuff. But it was just, they didn't show that. It was kind of, he thought of the idea, Ant-Man told them about the quantum realm, and it just kind of all came together like this. So I was really looking forward to seeing Tony do his thing scientifically in a major way one last time. At the ending, you mentioned Star Trek. The ending, there was definitely a finality to it. So I guess this is the end of. I'm not going to speculate on which phase it was, but this is the end of a major phase. So either obviously we're not going to see some characters anymore, but the main ones we've seen, we're going to see them less. So if you watched Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country, at the end, all the main cast members signed their name, and there was this official send-off telling us that, hey, we're not going to see these characters again. Fortunately, we did see Kirk and Scotty and Spock sporadically throughout the Star Trek world again, but this symbolized in this movie that we're really not going to see a lot of these characters again. I hope some of them pop up again in the universe, because I know that it's going to go forward. We got another Spider-Man movie coming out.
right.
There's going to be another Black Panther. So hopefully we'll see some of these people again, the ones that survived Endgame. Amahl, any last comments?
You had mentioned it was nice to see Tony Stark explain what was happening, and Tony Stark, Iron Man, being the foundation or the cornerstone of this franchise. What was nice about the character in Robert Downey Jr. and how they portrayed Tony Stark in his movies and also in the previous Avengers movies was they would show him thinking, and they would show him making mistakes. They would show him figuring out what worked and what didn't work, and the audience got to go on that journey with him. In Avengers Endgame, he solves some equations and comes up with some sort of time travel GPS, and that's it. The audience didn't really get to go on that discovery with him, which was a point, as you mentioned, that they could have handled a little better. Maybe there will be an extended cut, a longer cut in the Blu-ray, but in the end battle, there was so much happening. I really would have liked to have seen Captain America wield Mjolnir more. I thought he could have hit Thanos a little more. I thought Thanos was reacting to how everyone was hitting him a little too quickly. And also in that end battle, if you don't know or if you haven't seen the movie, that end battle takes place at a bombed Avengers mansion. So a lot of that happened in the dark. It was difficult to pick out some of the things that were happening, but I personally would have enjoyed seeing Captain America wield Mjolnir against Thanos with a little more screen time.
Okay. Speaking of which, Captain wielding Mjolnir, that threw a lot of people who were unfamiliar with the Marvel Universe, and I was not as familiar with it as you and maybe our best friend is. So that kind of threw me and threw some other people. It was cool to watch. The last scene was epic. Thanos was a bad dude. I enjoyed his speeches as he was, fighting the good guys. And one other thing, and I'm going to end here. We're going to end here. That stood out to me was the all-female scene where Captain Marvel was going to take the gauntlet into the Ant-Man's truck, and they all said, we're going to make sure she gets there, and all the women kind of stepped forward, and I'd never seen anything like that before. It was kind of cool. I'd never seen anything like that before, so.
It would have been great if Captain Marvel or Pepper Potts as the Iron Guardian would have said, Avengers assemble, with all the women on the roof. I think, you know, seeing all the women on the roof, hey, I have no problems with the female representation in these movies. Those women were awesome, but for that one shot where all those women were on the roof, it would have been cool if Captain Marvel or Pepper Potts as the Iron Guardian would have said, Avengers assemble.
All right, well, that wraps up our review of Avengers Endgame. If you haven't seen it yet, it's something we highly recommend. I look forward, just like Amahl said, I look forward to seeing the extras on the Blu-ray and the director's cut or whatever extra goodies they have for us. I'm certain there were things that were left out. And we'll conclude there. Thank you for watching this review. Please like this video, share this video, and subscribe to my channel. And I'm sure Amahl will be back on my channel several times in the future.
Absolutely, I can't wait.
So, and by the way, he's done all the artwork for the channel and for the blog, and so pretty much anything artistic that any of my art, he's pretty much done it. Just had to plug him. Anyway,
Thank you, bro.
with that, I will conclude. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.